I call the April 28th, 2026 Connect Transit Board of Trustees meeting to order at promptly 4:30 PM. Clerk, call the roll.
Trustee Bianchi,
Here.
Vice Chair Buchanan,
Here.
Trustee Cravens, Secretary Foster,
Here.
Board Chair Hyle,
Here.
Trustee Rao,
Here.
Trustee Sanders,
Present.
City Manager Jurgens,
Here.
City Manager Reese,
This is Brian Day sitting in her place.
Welcome, Brian.
and Trustee Cravens.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And Trustee Foster.
Our mission, Connect Transit provides safe, reliable transportation and access to opportunity to strengthen and enrich individual lives, our community, the economy, and their lives.
Thank you. I believe we have a safety moment from Jared.
How's it going, everybody? Just want to take a quick moment to discuss some of the safety protocols we have when we have inclement weather. As you all been aware, there's been several tornado situations in the area. We're in the Midwest, it's the spring, so granted, we can't stop those situations from occurring, but we do take a couple of precautionary steps. One being we temporarily suspend service. We have all of our vehicles returned to a safe location for the vehicles that are out of the area, especially those in the rural area now, because we do service places that might not have immediate shelter. We try to have those vehicles go to, we try to have those vehicles go to civil buildings, police stations, fire departments, things of that nature, where we know the infrastructure will be safe. They can go shelter down until the storm's passed. For our sake in town, once we have suspended service, our vehicles remain out of service for about an hour, just to make sure that we have an idea what the storm's going to do. If there's no signs of it dying down, then we generally will look to probably suspend service for the rest of the evening, if worst case scenario. Or if the weather, in some places flooding is too bad, the wind is too high, whatever the case is. Mainly because safety is the biggest priority. We want to make sure that we can operate in such a manner.
Thank you very much. Questions, trustees? Can you just walk us through? So I'm an operator. I've got a bus full of people. When I pull into a civil parking lot or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
What happens?
So I'll give you an example, not this past Friday or this past weekend, but the last storm that came through. Just about everybody in the area got the notice to kind of hunker down into a safe location. So for instance, at Uptown Station, any personnel, passengers would have then been instructed to go inside of the nearest storm shelter or safe location, which would have been Uptown Station in this scenario. So we would communicate with the passengers and have them all kind of vacate the vehicles to try to get to a safe locale until the storm or warnings pass in that scenario.
And so then, and ride to wherever they're going is also suspended until further notice?
Correct.
I presume we try to get them eventually
We
to
try
what they
as we
intend.
can. So far, we've done really, really well about making sure we maintain service after storms pass. So far, we've actually had to suspend service. We've been able to manage and get people where they have to get to afterwards. It just takes a little bit of time, unfortunately. We do try to make sure we run the route to make sure that everything is as clear as it can be, no down power lines, debris, things of that nature might obstruct our path, but yeah.
Will you please extend the board's appreciation to staff, to operators for their steady state in the case of these emergencies?
Absolutely. Yeah.
We do appreciate it. The statistic I heard this morning is that Illinois, so far this year, Illinois is north of 100 tornadoes, and there's something like 50 tornadoes more than any other state in the nation.
Yeah.
So we are definitely in the alley.
I'm scared for the new Kansas. I just have one question, and great work. You know, it's serious business when a tornado or warning goes out. And we know that generally the watches kind of give us an indicator of what's about to happen.
Mm.
Is that where you take your cue from when you get information related to that? And
Yes.
then do we do any preparation as far as picking up people and then not really completing their place that they like to be located? Have you seen situations where people, were not able to make it to work on time or anything like that? It's not your fault.
No.
But I'm just saying.
absolutely. Yeah. As far as that portion of the thing, not so much. Normally, if the weather is bad enough, we haven't had anybody call in, if you will. Not to say they wouldn't, but so far we haven't. It's pretty much been a general understanding if the weather is bad enough, the service is suspended. We do notify the public en masse through our synchromatic system, so everybody gets the notice that we are going to be suspending service. And then once we resume service as well, we send that notification out. In the past, if there have been situations like that where we haven't been able to provide the service that we intend to, if people are calling in with, I've been stuck at this location for an hour, I was supposed to be at work an hour ago.
Right.
If need be, we have done in the past, reached out to those managers, and given them the line and say, hey, look, it's our fault, right? There was something going on. If you need to verify whether or not our vehicle will stop somewhere, we definitely can, and we exchange information that way just to, not encumber anybody more than we need to.
That is not
Thank you.
regular.
That's great.
That is terrific. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Clerk, do we have any public comments?
No.
Thank you. I need a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Trustee Foster moves. Trustee Rao seconds. Trustees, questions? Seeing no questions, we have a motion on the floor to approve the consent agenda. Clerk, call the roll.
Trustee Bianchi,
Yes.
Vice Chair Buchanan,
Yes.
Trustee Cravens,
Yes.
Secretary Foster,
Yes.
Trustee Rao,
Yes.
Trustee Sanders,
Yes.
and Board Chair Hyle.
Yes.
Thank you.
New business. We have an informational presentation on fall 2026 proposed service adjustments. Brady.
Thank you, Chair Heil. So as the board knows, in the budget discussion that we recently had and approved, we had discussed several service enhancements that we plan to do throughout the upcoming year. What Alex is getting ready to present is the first of those recommendations. Just to get ahead of this a little bit, this is a informational presentation. After the conclusion of this, we will begin to do public engagement sessions and bring a final recommendation to the board in May or June. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Alex. Alex has graciously offered to join us from vacation. So he's on the across the pond, as they say. So he's joining us from Greece, and we'll turn it over to him.
And what time is it there?
Yeah, good question.
Alex, are you on the
Hey,
line?
Can you hear me, first of all?
We can hear you. Thank you. What time
Okay.
is it there?
It is 12:38 a.m. right now.
Pulling an all-nighter.
Thank you.
No problem. Okay, so Brady briefly went over the stuff I'm going to present to you today. So this presentation is going to be about proposed service changes that are all going to start, if passed, in the fall 2026 bid. So in the agenda, you can see all the items we're going to go over. First, we have a new bus route for ISU. Then second item on the agenda is a few changes for the Aqua Orange routes. These changes are the addition of peak service and then a slight adjustment to the orange schedule. Then we have an adjustment to the Connect Flex, the current Connect Flex microtransit zone that is in Southwest Bloomington. And then lastly, we have the pink-yellow separation, that being the elimination of their interlining. We're going to go into more details in the next slides. So let's jump into the East Campus route. So for some background, I'm sure you all know that ISU students enjoy free public transportation on all Connect Transit bus routes. But they also have their own bus route on campus called the Redwood Express. That is a route that ISU pays for, and it's a route that serves the majority of the main campus area of ISU. It is open to the public, so it's not a requirement to just be student to get on it. But now we want to add a second route to the list. Um, so that would be for the new facility that ISU has purchased on GE Road. It is near the GE Hershey intersection, and it used to belong to Country Financial, and it is now going to house the College of Engineering starting in August, so for the fall semester. We have been in discussions with ISU for a little over a year now about this new route and how to best serve the students that will get there. And we are getting pretty close to finalizing that decision. So this is the option that will likely take place in August. It is a route that originates on North Street by Watterson Towers. If you've driven by the area, you can see two shelters, two or three, I can't remember off the top of my head, that are also currently served by the Redbird Express route. That way, this connects to the Redbird Express, so for students that live on other parts of campus could transfer to it if needed. And it is already a very popular stop. So it originates at that stop on Watterson Towers on North Street, and then it utilizes Kingsley, Main, and Center Streets to get to Buford and then Vernon Avenue, and then just continue on to GE Road. This is you can see that on the map on the right uh, part of the screen. Um, so like I said, we're close to finalizing it, but we're not there yet. We need to finalize the exact schedule, such as what these service hours are going to look like and how they're going to differ on weekdays versus weekends. And I did say that the Redbird Express is an ICU route, but it is open to everybody. You all could go and ride it on campus right now. This is going to be the same with this route. On the map, and Janice, if you go to the next page, so this is the same map, just a little bigger. You can see little dots along the route. Those are bus stops. Those are all going to be served by this new route. So it's not just going to be a point A to point B shuttle, Watterson Towers to the College of Engineering building. Every stop in between is also going to be serviced. This catches a lot of off-campus housing on Vernon Avenue. There are a lot of students that live there right now. A big community that comes to mind is Vernon Stables, but there are a lot of other smaller communities where students live in that area. Uh, so we are also thinking that this would not only be useful to people that want to get to the College of Engineering, but also any students that live there that just want to get to the main campus without having to walk, especially uh, during bad weather conditions. Hopefully not like tornadoes, but I'm thinking like snow and hot weather. Um, so it's just like it's just like killing two birds in one stone. Um, that part of Vernon is currently serviced by the TAN route, but that is a route that has a pretty low frequency being how often the bus comes. The TAN comes once every 1 hour. So it can be a little inconvenient for students. It can be quicker for them to walk depending on the time that their classes start. This route would most likely, with how where the signs are heading right now, will have a frequency of every 20 minutes. So it'll be a better way for students to get to campus. But again, also the main point of this is to serve the new College of Engineering, and there will be some new stops that don't currently exist that are going to be added along Kingsley and Main Streets. There's a lot of campus uh, like restaurants in that area. For example, there's a McDonald's, there's a Chipotle, um, there's some apartments like the Flats or the Social. And then there's also this ISU Fitness Center. So we would be adding a little bit of service to that. And yeah, this concludes the first part of the agenda. This is by far the big thing we're going to be doing. And like Brady said, we'll be finalizing this and moving on with public engagement. Um, Then we are moving on to the aqua orange changes that I talked about. So the first and biggest change is the addition of peak service to the aqua orange routes. Now, the aqua and orange are two routes, but they're also interlined. This is the concept we've visited in the past. It just means that the two routes are connected. So both routes originate in downtown Bloomington. So each route, when it returns to downtown Bloomington, it turns into the other. So the aqua returns to downtown and becomes the orange. Then the orange returns to downtown and it becomes the aqua. And this continues for the rest of the day. So there are two routes. Um, so now peak service, that just means that during morning and afternoon peak hours, meaning 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. in the morning and approximately 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. In the afternoon, we will be increasing frequency for whatever route we're adding peak to. We did this to the purple and blue routes last year. During those peak times that I mentioned, the frequency increased from the bus coming every 1 hour to the bus coming every 30 minutes. Uh, this just opens up a lot more possibilities to riders that live along the routes and saves people a lot more time and opens up more possibilities of transfers as well. Since we've done that, we've seen an increase in ridership of approximately 25% for each the purple and the blue, which are, by the way, also interlined routes. And based on um, statistics and what we believe are the needs of the community, the aqua orange are our next targets for an increase in frequency. Uh, I personally believe frequency is probably the most important part of a route, and I would love to have every route have higher frequency. But we have limited resources, so this is where we're moving next after the purple blue. So the Aqua is a very high performing route. It has a very high number of passengers per revenue hour. It is currently, I believe, the third most efficient route after the Redwood Express and the Green. Um, and so that obviously means there's a lot of demand for that route. And then the orange is not as big of a performer as the Aqua, but we have recently learned that State Farm will be moving all of their employees to corporate south, which the Orange Route serves directly. Um, and they will also be increasing their in-office requirements. So we're going to see a lot more people go into a singular building that we currently serve pretty well and even better once we add more frequency. Um, and additionally, this is something we're going to see in some of the next slides, but this will also assist people affected by the Connect Flex change that we are recommending. But for now, there's another small change to the orange in the next slide. Um, so this is just going to be a very tiny schedule adjustment. So like I said, the orange gets to State Farm Corporate South from downtown Bloomington. When it does that, it dwells there for a couple of minutes. The reason buses dwell at certain areas is we call that recovery time. It is a way to make up for any delays, but also to make sure um, we're staying on schedule. So it's bad when a bus is late, but it is also bad when a bus is early. So having dwell points helps buses that are running early stay on schedule. That's State Farm Corporate South is currently one of those dwell points, and we are looking into changing that a little bit because we believe that that dwell time would be better used in downtown Bloomington instead of Corporate South. So the bus just kind of awkwardly sits on Hamilton right now for sometimes 5 to even 10 minutes, while it has to depart at 10 after the hour from Corporate South. We would simply just change the departure time from Corporate South from 10 after the hour to just 5. So it would save about 5 minutes. This means that the orange would get to downtown Bloomington 5 minutes early, which eliminates any risks of missed transfers. Because during really busy times, the orange can get to downtown late, and we have heard of missed transfers because of that. So we're just going to have the orange depart say from a little bit earlier. Again, this is going to be communicated to the public by public engagement, and also we're thinking about potentially putting signs at all the affected stops that say that this bus is now going to be coming here 5 minutes early. This is a very small change, like I said, and it's just going to make the route a little more efficient and hopefully more reliable. So this sums up the aqua orange changes. So then the next change will be the connect flex zone reduction. So Connect Flex, our current Connect Flex zone, which you can see on the map, serves Southwest Bloomington. This was launched, I believe, in the summer of 2023, as a way to serve parts of Bloomington that are underserved by transit, um, like areas that are difficult for us to access that do not have sufficient infrastructure, and where maybe that just doesn't make sense to have a fixed route, possibly due to low demand. This is what a lot of agencies nationally are doing with their microtransit. It is just a supplement to the fixed route. Wherever it doesn't make sense for fixed route to exist because of infrastructure issues or because we just don't see high ridership there, we could do on-demand areas, meaning that if there is demand, a vehicle will come to you. But if not, we won't have a fixed route serving that area all day with very low ridership numbers. Um, so we believe that the current flex zone doesn't hit that target. It is likely a little too big for its own good, and currently it serves really um, it serves Market Street and Main Street, which are really which both have heavy public transportation presence. They have efficient routes and they have a lot of them. On Market Street, we have the Lime route, which goes every 30 minutes, and there's also sufficient infrastructure present, especially after all the construction that has taken place over the last few years with improvements to sidewalks as well as road quality. And then on Main Street, we have the orange, the aqua, the silver, and a little bit of the purple routes. So there's a lot of routes there. And with the increase in frequency to the aqua orange, that would bring effective frequency on Main Street to approximately 15 to 20 minutes. So we are proposing, and again, we're going to do public engagement for this and get people's input. We're proposing the change that you can see on the map. Um, if we could move to the next slide where they can see the map more clearly. Um, so the red parts of the zone are the parts that we would cut if this change were to take effect. So it's not a very significant change. It would just remove a lot of parts that are pretty well served by public transportation, to hopefully push some people to the more efficient and also just more reliable fixed routes. The fixed route is going to be there at a certain time, 99% of the time. Um, the issue we have with Connect Flex is one of fairness. There's people in the outskirts of the city, just like Ferrero, for example, that don't have a way to get to move around without a car because there's no fixed route in the area. And we have seen examples of people along Market and Main Street that utilize service to go exactly where the fixed route goes. Um, Although we would love to be able to serve everybody door to door, like I said, we have limited resources, and people in parts of Southwest Bloomington have no access to any routes. So we want to make sure that those people have at least some form of reliable transportation, whereas parts of Market and Main Street already do. So yeah, this is the before and after, and you can see all the routes. The lime and the aqua orange are in the affected areas. But again, we will be increasing frequency for both the aqua and the orange on uh, Main and Center streets, which will hopefully uh, further improve the efficiency of that corridor. Um, Then we have the last change that we will be proposing, which is the separation of the pink and yellow routes. Um, Now, like I said in the beginning, the pink and yellow are interlined routes, meaning they both turn into each other once they reach Uptown Station. Um, so the only proposed change here is to just eliminate that interlining so that they don't do that. They will be two independent routes. This is the only change that is being proposed. No schedule or routing changes are being proposed at this time. Now, we have heard a lot of issues from passengers and drivers alike that the pink yellow are really tight routes, especially recently. I look at the schedule performances all the time, and I do see that both the yellow and the orange tend to run pretty late relatively often, resulting in missed transfers for passengers, which will just extend their trip by potentially up to an hour. Um, but also the human factor for operators where they might not be able to use the restroom for the whole time they're doing that route. So we believe that by eliminating that interlining, um, right now, what we might be seeing is if something happens on one route, say the pink, and it gets delayed by 7 minutes or however long, that delay then gets moved to the yellow because they are connected. So by separating them, we will hopefully be able to isolate cases of delays so that we don't affect both routes. Um, so that is what we're aiming at here. But again, I want to make it clear that there are no proposed schedule changes. Nothing else will change about those two routes. Um, right now, another thing that might change with the end of the interlining is that people might have to transfer in between the yellow and the pink now, after the change, whereas right now they just stay on the same vehicle and then it turns into the other one. However, with the new fare system, um, they will have 1 hour where transfers will be made at no additional cost. So we do not foresee that being an issue. So that concludes the proposed changes. And then for the next steps, before this is voted on by the board and before it goes into effect, is that we would like to do public engagement sessions in May near the areas that will be affected. For example, for Flex, because it affects us with Bloomington, and those people have easy access to downtown Bloomington, we're thinking we could do something maybe by the library. But of course, we haven't decided, at least I don't think we have decided the exact locations yet. And then once we have sufficient feedback, that will be provided to the board. And if we see any reason to make any changes, we will revisit those proposals. And then this will be finally given to the board in either May or June for a final vote, or it might be separated a little bit. Maybe the ISU one will be given to the board in June and the rest in May. But that is the current plan. And that concludes my presentation. If anybody has any questions, really hope I can hear you because I do have kind of bad sound quality right now.
Right, Alex, thank you very much for joining us and presenting this. You did a great job. We really appreciate it. Hopefully you can get some sleep, but hang on for just a couple minutes, just in case there are any questions.
Okay.
We'll open it for questions.
Brian?
Yeah, I don't remember the specifics of the enacting ordinance, but I assume that these changes fall under the threshold that would have to go to town council or city council for approval.
Yes, they do. Yeah.
Other comments?
No, just appreciate you staying up to talk to us.
What's that?
Great place. And I appreciate your time with the marketing group, sharing with us, information so that we will be more aware and be more informed. So thank you for that. And I'm looking forward to for the sessions so that we can get the feedback from the community. So.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you.
Alex, I want to thank you for your clear explanation of what might, in other hands, feel like some pretty complicated changes. There are many different kinds of changes to many different kinds of routes here, which also really demonstrates a nicely systemic review, which I greatly appreciate. I'm always interested in our moving to peak, experimenting with peak in as many places as we can. And I think there's a kind of a stealth expansion of our services there that's affordable and doable and smart. So thank you for that. And just also the reflection of pivoting where needed as our community changes. The ISU East Campus being a really nice example of that. So thank you very much for all of that work, and I look forward to those public engagement sessions and to circling up with the city and the town on what I think are some potentially nice nips and tucks to an already strong system.
Thank you.
And enjoy the time with your family.
Thank you. I will.
Thanks, Alex.
I need a motion to authorize the deputy managing director to execute a purchase and sale agreement and a lease agreement between Connect Transit and the city of Bloomington for property located at 202 West Market Street.
Yay. I've been waiting.
Trustee Buchanan is clamoring to so move. And trustee Bianchi has seconded. Great.
Thank you, Chair Hott. So as mentioned, this recommendation is to authorize me to execute a purchase and sale agreement and a lease agreement between Connect Transit and the city of Bloomington. The proposed agreement, which have already been approved by the city of Bloomington City Council, just really provide a framework under which the city will sell the Market Street property to Connect Transit for a nominal price of $10. Connect Transit will accept the property in its current as-is condition and assume full responsibility for demolition of the existing structure and construction of the new facility. The city will contribute just over $358,000 toward total design costs, while Connect Transit will fund the balance of the project. The city will provide short-term support for site security and maintenance following the approval of these agreements for the existing garage. Upon completion of this project, Connect Transit will retain ownership of the property and operate the transit facility. The city will lease the public parking facility and police security office for a term of 99 years for a nominal rate of $10 a year. The city will take full responsibility for operating, maintaining, and collecting revenue from the parking facility, and Connect Transit will retain access to 12 parking places for our operational needs. The financial impact of these agreements are, as mentioned, a total of $10. And I will be happy to answer any questions that you may have, but I welcome this, another milestone in this great project. So
Since this is a consequential vote, it is the culmination of many years of good work. I'm going to call on trustees by name to make sure that we have fair order. Trustee Bianchi, any comments or questions?
My comment is just that I'm very excited as well to see some progress being made.
Great. Trustee Sanders?
Nothing really except this is moving like stealth, so very excited, especially as a downtown resident.
Trustee Rob?
Good to go.
Trustee Foster?
I agree. This is a long time coming. This is a perfect location. Thanks for the partnership with the town and the city. So we appreciate everything that's been done to bring us this forth. And Brady, thank you for your leadership on this.
Trustee Cravens?
Yeah, thanks to Brady for working it through. Obviously, this is a big step, and thanks to the city for approving it so swiftly after finally getting approved by the relevant authorities. So good job.
Trustee Buchanan?
Well, obviously very excited. The partnerships have been developing over the years. They are just spot on right now in terms of communication and production. So I thank Brady and the team here, and Jeff, you and the team at the city.
And I would just add my thanks to our clearing the way for this continued work with City of Bloomington as a great partner, and the beginning of, or the continuation of a substantial Connect Transit investment in our economy and in the downtown landscaping part, streetscape project. We're so glad to be a part of it. And thanks for everyone team.
absolutely.
Clerk, call the roll.
Trustee Bianchi? Yes.
Vice Chair Buchanan,
Yes.
Trustee Cravens,
Yes.
Secretary Foster,
Yes.
Trustee Rao,
Yes.
Trustee Sanders,
Yes.
and Board Chair Hile.
Yes,
Thank you.
and I think this is. I need a motion to authorize the deputy managing director to execute a contract with Western Specialty Contractors for a roof replacement on the Wiley Drive Administration Building. This contract will be contingent on IDOT's approval. I'm looking for a motion. Trustee Foster has so moved.
Second.
Trustee Sanders has second. Brady.
Thank you, Chair Hile. And as all trustees know, we have been trying to replace the roof on this facility for quite some time. Finally, we have authorization to move forward with this contract, and I'm gonna let Ashley talk more about that.
Thank you. So we'd like to authorize the deputy managing director to execute a contract with Western Specialty Contractors for a roof replacement on the Wiley Drive Administration Building. And luckily, it is finally IDOT approved. I got the letter on Friday afternoon. So after we published it, of course, then they gave me the letter. So I was excited for that. So we do not have to wait. We can move forward as long as the board approves us. So the Wiley Drive Administration Building was constructed over 15 years ago. But we have been experiencing ongoing issues with shingle loss over the past several years. And the maintenance department has engaged with third-party contractors to replace those shingles on an as-needed basis. However, the frequency of these issues have posed significant challenges during periods of adverse weather. And so the maintenance department develops specifications for a replacement of a metal roof. Which has anticipated to provide the administration building with a durable, low maintenance roofing system that will support long-term structural integrity. So on July 9th of 2025, we issued an invitation for bids, seeking bids for a roof replacement on this facility, and we received 3 bids in response to that. And so I provided a table for reference. And so how an invitation for bid works is it is awarded to the lowest responsive bidder. So as you can see, the lowest responsive bidder was Top Roofing, but they were deemed non-responsive because they did not complete the bid pricing sheet, as well as they were missing scope of work requirements such as a lack of project references and manufacturer specifications. So we ended up going with the second lowest bidder, which was Western Specialty, and they were deemed responsive and are being recommended for contract. So a little bit about them is they've been in business for over 100 years. Their corporate office is actually in St. Louis, but their local office is in Peoria. The vendor has expertise in metal roofing, and the roof work will include tear off and disposal of existing asphalt shingles, underlayment, which includes an ice and water shield, and replacement of any damaged rotted substrates. The roof will be applied with a standing seam metal roof that includes all hardware and manufacturer recommendations for a watertight installation. And so all flashing, drip edge, soffits, ridge cap, trim, commercial seamless, heavy gauge gutters and downspouts will be replaced. And the warranty for the roof is a 20-year weather tightness and a 35-year paint and finish. And so the total cost for this is $414,000 or $414,848. And that will be funded by FTA as well as IDOT.
Have to answer any questions you have.
Trustees, questions? Comments?
When do they plan on trying to do that?
So, because of how long it was taking, we are on the schedule for August of this year.
And how long did they say it was gonna take?
But so when I say that, so when it was at IDOT, it was there for a long time, and so we had to be pushed the schedule wise. Our hope was the spring, but they'll be doing it in August. And we haven't talked to schedule how long it will take them to do that. But hopefully as we move forward, it'll be here.
And the whole roof will be metal? Soundproof? It's been raining.
Others? I would just point out, this is another $414,000 that Connect Transit is bringing to this community from the FTA and the state. We are very proud of our ability to bring these funds back to us. Ashley, thank you so much for the work. Seeing no more questions or comments, we have a motion on the floor to authorize the deputy managing director to execute a contract with Western Specialty Contractors for a roof replacement on the Wiley Drive Administration Building. This contract will be contingent on IDOT's approval. Clerk, call the roll.
Trustee Bianchi,
Yes.
Vice Chair Buchanan,
Yes.
Trustee Cravens,
Yes.
Secretary Foster,
Yes.
Trustee Rao,
Yes.
Trustee Sanders,
Yes.
and Board Chair Heil.
Yes.
Thank you.
I need a motion to authorize the deputy managing director to execute a contract with Synergy Electric, Inc. for facility security equipment for a term of 5 years. Trustee Rao so moves, seconded by trustee Foster. Brady.
Thank you, Chair Heil. So a few years ago, we submitted a congressionally directed spending request to Senator Durbin, who included it in the budget for that year to replace security cameras and lock equipment in this facility. Since that time, we've been working on a scope of work to develop this project, and we're finally ready to present the contract recommendation. And I'm going to ask Ashley to present this.
Thank you. So, as we've stated, we'd like to authorize the deputy managing director to execute a contract with Synergy Electric for facility security equipment for a term of 5 years. As we continue to expand our facilities, the need for modern and comprehensive security and access control system has been increasingly urgent due to the rapid advancement of technology and software. And so, as well as we have aging and failing condition of current equipment, since originally to the building now over 15 years, and most of our security cameras are at least 8. And the door security mechanisms showing signs of significant wear. And so an internal audit by the technology department revealed that these outdated systems not only pose security risks, but also contribute to rising operational costs. So in addition, we want to ensure a safe and secure workplace for employees is our most important thing we'd like to do. And so on November 10th of 2025, we released a request for proposals seeking proposals to upgrade door locks, security cameras throughout the facility, and we received 2 proposals in response. And so we had an evaluation committee review those. We had demonstrations. And after the evaluation committee completed their scoring, they recommended Synergy to be awarded the contract. And the table with their scoring is provided as well. So they will replace current camera systems and access control systems throughout both facilities, which is our administration as well as our maintenance facility. Synergy Electric will deliver a comprehensive suite of software based on the Gentech software platform, combined with access security cameras and Mercury HID access control systems. And the system will include perimeter control of all of our gates and can be expanded to incorporate new facilities, including the downtown transit center. So the total cost of this project will be $378,045.74 for equipment and installation, and an additional $7,000 annually for a service level agreement. And so as Brady stated, we did get awarded a congressional directed spending grant that we will be utilizing and also local funds.
Answer any questions?
Mr. Day?
You mentioned the software. Is this a cloud-based software service that we're using the SLA for? So it's not an on-premise?
Correct.
Software, okay.
What?
And that's what the 5 year.
It has an on-site DVR with the cloud access back.
Okay. And then 5 year then is,
The annual operating costs provide the remote access for that system. So they have a cloud access system that connects to the on-prem situation.
excellent.
Just, thank you, Ashley. To confirm, it will include the gates and the entrance to the property.
Correct.
And are we getting any more cameras, or are we gonna continue with the same number of cameras? Did we increase that?
So we'll be getting new cameras, they'll be the access cameras, and they will be replacing all the ones that we have in this facility as well in that one. I don't know for sure if it's how many are being, like if it's just replacing some, because they did a blueprint on what they recommended would be to suffice the coverage of cameras and things like that, but I don't know if it would be.
There are additional cameras.
We currently have roughly 30 cameras, and this will push it up above 55 to 60 cameras. And the coverage, they did a coverage map for us, but obviously we have to put the cameras in place before we can approve basis on.
Right now. Two sites.
I'd also like to point out, and I meant to do this earlier, and Ashley mentioned it in her discussion. Part of this is in preparation for the downtown facility. So, you know, that on-prem server that's here, all the cameras that will, you know, go in that facility will also be connected to this system. So, so it'll bring everything under one piece of software for us. Make it much easier to manage. And we're working with the city, with Bloomington Police to provide access for that facility as well.
Okay.
Does the 55 to 60 cameras include the new downtown
It does
facility?
not.
So we'll have to purchase additional cameras?
Yeah, those cameras will be part of it.
That would be a sole source that we would have to complete.
Okay.
Any implications for the Uptown Transit Center?
TBD. So we needed to get this in place. We do have a desire. In fact, we've had very preliminary conversations with town staff, technology staff about getting some cameras in Uptown Station. So just so our dispatch team can see what's happening up there when the buses are in there, that would be a desirable outcome. But we needed this software in place, so we know what to do down there. So now that once this goes into place, we'll continue those conversations with town staff.
Thank you.
I have a question in regard to trustee Kirkland's comments. When we bring the new transit station online and we have to purchase more cameras, will the cost go up on an annual basis?
We would have to have that discussion because especially depending on if we can build a transit center within this contract, since it's a 5-year contract, it would depend on, but if it's after, then we would probably, after the 5 years, then we'd have a discussion to be able to talk through that to see if that would be an additional. I believe more so the 7,000 is more of a maintenance and support.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not based on a per camera basis.
Right.
A lot basis. It's just their 24/7 support contract.
We feel, yeah.
Other questions, thoughts, comments?
Real quick, sorry. So if we've got 50, 60 cameras, doesn't look, how long are we storing that footage for? And is that part of this agreement, or do we have excess storage?
We don't know exactly how long it will store, but the server that they've spec'd has 92 terabytes of storage. Some of that depends on, the 4K or 2K camera, how the resolution of the camera itself. So I don't recall what we spec'd in the RFP for minimum retention. Do you, Steve?
I think we said 30 days, but minimum was 15 days.
Yeah, I think so.
And our video retention policy says 14 days, so it will get well beyond.
And I think it depends on the type of advanced cameras. They have some self-storage. Additional will go to the cloud. From the cloud, we can retain. That's what I mean, understand from the previous presentations.
Seeing no more questions or comments, and with thanks to Senator Durbin for his Connect Transit advocacy and many years of service to the state, we have a motion on the floor to authorize the Deputy Managing Director to execute a contract with Synergy Electric, Inc. for facility security equipment for a term of 5 years. Clerk, call the roll.
Trustee Bianchi,
Yes.
Vice Chair Buchanan,
Yes.
Trustee Cravens,
Yes.
Secretary Foster,
Yes.
Trustee Rob,
Yes.
Trustee Sanders,
Yes.
and Board Chair Hyatt.
Yes.
Thank you.
I need a motion to continue to hold from release all confidential closed session minutes and hold from release the closed session minutes as indicated.
So move.
I have a motion from trustee Sanders and a second from trustee Foster. Brady.
Thank you, Chair Hiles. So as mentioned, this recommendation is to continue hold from release all confidential closed session minutes, as well as hold from release the closed session minutes that are indicated in the table on the recommendation. Illinois state law requires that all public bodies, which are subject to the requirements of Illinois Open Meetings Act, review their closed session minutes at least twice each calendar year and determine which of those minutes need to remain confidential. And which should be released to the public. Staff has reviewed the closed session minutes and is recommending that all minutes previously held by the board continue to be withheld. And further recommends that the closed session minutes listed in the chart be held from a release due to their confidential nature. And there is no financial impact. Well, I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Trustees. Seeing no questions or comments, we have a motion on the floor to continue to hold from release all confidential closed session minutes and hold from release the closed session minutes as indicated. Clerk, call the roll.
Trustee Bianchi,
Yes.
Vice Chair Buchanan,
Yes.
Trustee Cravens.
Yes.
Secretary Foster,
Yes.
Trustee Rob,
Yes.
Trustee Sanders,
Yes.
and Board Chair Hyatt.
Yes.
Thank you.
Do we have any committee reports to share this month?
Operations Committee met a couple weeks ago, and pretty much what you heard Alex speak on, in his presentation are all the things we discussed 2 weeks ago. So really nothing new to report.
Thank you for previewing Alex's presentation. I think that user test is always super helpful to staff. Thank you. Others?
Finance, there are no anomalies going well.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mother. Uh-huh.
Just messaging and marketing. We're getting ready in May and June for some sit downs with Wilmington and normal council members. And we're really looking a lot at some of the little colored card that you all got in terms of Connect Transit by the numbers. That really begins to help people understand the volume of the community we serve. And as I looked at, and I think Brady will mention this, but the fact book from APTA, a national study, we're going to be looking at the impact of some of the very things that they've measured across the country and kind of bring it down to, in terms of the impact of numbers of employees, numbers of trips to various institutions and retailers, and the kind of fiscal impact it's having. So that will be incorporated into it. And again, we have a new sheet here with some new information on it in terms of the number of boardings in downtown Bloomington. And again, so often people think of that empty bus they see pulling away on Front Street. And when you remind them there are 1,500 boardings down there every day, it becomes much more real and rich. And I think it helps us emphasize the fact that Connect Transit is here and really providing a very useful and helpful service to our community.
Yeah, we very much look forward to making this lap with mayors and council members here in relatively short order. And we will, we're gonna lead with City of Bloomington since we have pressing business there. But the town of Normal will follow shortly.
It's very busy, but kind of talking to you. So
Yeah.
that's why I said May, June, we'll get it done.
Great. Thank you so much. Budget? Finance? Oh,
Man, have a good
okay.
day.
We did. Got my friends. All right, great. Thank you again to committee liaisons. Very much appreciate the work. Every time we meet, I'm struck by just a sense of a greater, deeper understanding of this system as a board. and that takes work. So thank you to trustees for that effort, and thanks again to staff for bringing us up all kinds of learning curves. I want to make a special thanks to board members. We are currently underway with our CEO search. We will meet this coming Friday morning to review the candidate briefing book and move in earnest into that process. We'll see you bright and early at 7 a.m. on Friday. I have one course correct on a data point that I gave you in an earlier email this week, which is that the number of candidates that KL2 reviewed was in fact 13 and not 8. And so it was quite a distillation process. We are down to 5, as you can see from the briefing book, and more conversation to come. Also, if we should happen to wish for their review of some of the remaining 3 candidates, they're happy to do that. They just feel like they've given us their best recommendations for Friday. Any questions about that process at this point? Okay, that's me. Brady?
Thank you, Chair Heil. Okay, so my monthly update on the Downtown Transit Center, as mentioned, we're gonna leave this in until we have a ribbon cutting, so. Design progress report, so we're quickly progressing toward 90% design. We anticipate that to be completed maybe as early as next month, May, which is Friday, so it's moving along quite nicely, but more likely in June. Plans are becoming much more detailed at this point, so we're working through some of the finer details. Instead of where this room goes, we're talking about much more minute components and things of that nature.
Process.
Exactly, yeah. Not quite there yet, but we're getting closer to that. So we're also reviewing the updated cost estimates with our consultant team based on the 60% design. So as things continue to progress, things such as plumbing become much more in focus, and they understand it better, so that the cost estimates can get narrowed down through that. So we're having a back and forth with them to kind of make sure that that's as tight as we can make it, and make sure that we're making choices that keep us within budget. So that's why those cost estimates are really important. We also are working through bus routing to get in and out of the facility. We held an initial meeting with our consultant to take their input and suggestions. They provided several alternatives. Then we met further with internal discussions. So then our operations, safety, and planning staff met to discuss everything that the consultant had prepared. And then we're guiding the discussion toward our desired approach. And what I'd like to do is have a desired normal day-to-day operation, and then a couple of alternatives so that we can easily pivot to that when there's something happening in the downtown area where we need to close a road. Then we're going to coordinate directly with the city to try to avoid that at all costs, and obviously to not impact our operations. But obviously there are things that close roads in the downtown area. So we want to be sure that at least one of our alternatives is always a viable option. And then City of Bloomington coordination, obviously the agreements have been approved by FTA and now the city and now Connect Transit. So we will move forward on those. Another really important milestone, and I know I say it every time, but Jeff and his team have been really incredible to work through with this process. And quite frankly, they were incredibly patient as we waited on the feds to review all of the agreements. So it took a lot longer than we expected. So we appreciate their patience and while we worked through that. I mentioned it briefly earlier. We are also meeting with Bloomington Police Department to review facility designs. Everybody knows that we're going to have a security office in this facility. So we're going to not only review that, but review the entire facility to have their perspective on that, things that we need to be watching out for, as well as discussing the security camera layout. Obviously, it's a very public facility, so we want to make sure they'll have access and eyes on the areas that they believe they need to have eyes on. And next slide, please. Couple of other updates. As you know, we're going through fare collection implementation. That project has been progressing nicely. There's continued work on development of the internal and external marketing materials. So one of the first steps is to prepare, I don't know if I'd call them marketing materials as much as training materials for staff. And so throughout May, we're going to be developing several materials as well as hosting some town halls internally where to give operators and customer service folks, dispatchers, the opportunity to come in and see the equipment, interact with the equipment, and they're going to ask us questions that we didn't anticipate, so that we can fold those questions into the materials that we put out publicly. And then obviously we're developing those materials for the public launch of this campaign as well. We are working through implementation of the fare structure and the back end of the software, and we're having ongoing discussions with all of our universal access partners. We've had initial conversations with almost all of them, and those conversations are going well. Really, what we're trying to do now is determine how those partners will pay, and do they need a card or will they use the app, those kind of things. So those conversations are progressing nicely. And we are coordinating the installation of the readers on the buses. We're currently targeting the end of May for that installation to happen. And cash boxes will happen at a later date. So we'll leave our existing fare collection equipment on the buses. That'll allow passengers that currently have passes to continue to use their passes. And then once we feel like we have sufficient adoption of the new system, we'll switch the cash collection boxes. The ERP and EAM project is also progressing nicely. That project planning meetings have all concluded, and the next significant task is the chart of accounts design. So that's not something that sounds like a lot of fun to most people, but it'll be a heavy lift for the finance department, and that's really where everything starts. And then everything can plug into the chart of accounts. So that's a really important component, and we will likely do some significant revisions to our chart of accounts. So it'll be a heavy lift. It'll take a lot of staff time. Work is also being done to develop the entire implementation schedule. So once chart of accounts is done, they're going to kind of map out what the rest of the schedule looks like for the entire implementation of the software. And just a couple of federal updates, and I can't keep my bullets updated because things are happening quickly. Because this happened this afternoon, and walking in here, I saw another email. So we're really, as mentioned before, we're up for reauthorization for FTA funding, and so we're really watching progress on that closely. The earliest possible package would be late 2026. But more likely to be a continuing resolution. That was earlier this afternoon. And then the email I just got says that potentially in the middle of May, there could be some movement on a potential bill. Now, they're still quite a ways apart on funding levels and advanced appropriation and things like that. So we're really just kind of staying tuned. We're advocating for, the funding that we need. The good news is it appears that operating funding is stable, including potentially a small increase as is typical. But the biggest debate is centered around the discretionary programs, which, as you all know, are very important to us for things like buses and facilities. So we're watching that quite closely, as well as the advanced appropriations that were included in the IIJA package. That included some operating funding and discretionary funding that was done in advance, and that is not likely to continue. But again, we're continuing to watch that, so we'll provide updates along the way.
Thank
And
you.
with that concludes my reports. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you so much. Putting you on the spot just a little bit, but do you have any highlights for us from the Ledge conference?
Sure. Well, that was the big one. There was a lot of discussion related to reauthorization, and things have even changed in the 2 weeks that since we were there. A lot of discussion about the financial impact, the economic impact of transit. And we'll be sharing some more information shortly with trustees that we're putting together. APT is very focused on that to increase, to share with folks the economic impact that we provide on not only our local community, but nationally as well. we had visits with all of our lawmakers, well, with all of our staff of all of our lawmakers, all, warm welcome. We provided the handout that you got was our leave behind to share with them all the things that we're doing to put the dollars to work that they've helped us secure. They really enjoyed seeing those, as well as the back of it is, kind of providing a ridership updates and things like that you've all seen before. So, it was a nice opportunity to visit with all of them. I think it's impactful when we actually go to Washington DC and visit them, on their territory. They also hear about all of our priorities and, several things that we're working on, and also how important reauthorization is in continuing those funding levels. So overall it was good, but, a lot of unknowns right now because of, the T&I committee is hopeful to push out, a reauthorization bill, but, who knows? So.
Thank you so much to you and Pat for making that trip. Much appreciated. And it included a delay and overnight and some travel shenanigans. So all the more power to people who grind it out. Thank you. Trustee comments. Let's do a round robin, shall we? Again, I'm going to start with Jean.
Putting me on the spot. I think I feel like I say this every time, but I'm just really pleased with the pace at which we're moving, the collaboration with the staff and the trustees, transparency. So just happy with where we're at. So keep doing what we're doing. That goes for everyone.
Thank you. Alicia?
Nothing too much. If Brady can extend to the operators, especially the ones that come by the ARC, my members are very ecstatic and very happy with how they get to the ARC. So I did tell them that I would say that at the meeting here, but the operators are doing a great job.
Okay. Thank you, Brady and team for exhibiting the downtown transit system, for working on that. Great job. Now we can see. Bit closer here. Yeah.
I just want to just say briefly that, a little wake up call for us if we can. In the past weekend with this tornadoes and weather warnings. So kudos to everybody who have worked through that. We appreciate you standing in the middle of what was happening. And so, kudos to everybody. Just thank you. I didn't always do right. I know I should have pulled over, but I didn't, but appreciate you guys following the safety moments that we do have.
Well, it's progress that you should.
Working on it.
Don't feel bad, Linda. I was just the same way.
Tyler?
I just want to commend our interim managing director, Brady Lang here, who's been, I think, doing a fantastic job on communication with the trustees and the dialogue with the trustees, and keeping us in the loop. Maybe, even sometimes too much information, which is just fine.
A good problem to have.
You keep doing it, but I feel very aware of everything that's going on here, all of our, all of our major issues and things that you're dealing with and working through. You're just doing a really good job of communicating with us, so I appreciate that.
Well, Vice Chair Buchanan?
We've got multiple projects, as Gina has suggested, and I really appreciate the proactive nature of what all of you do and under Brady's leadership. We're not waiting till those multiple projects have a problem. We're anticipating what could happen. And with as much as we have going, the fact that we are that proactive, I think, says something for all of our staff here and again, under the leadership of Brady. So thank you. Thank you all.
I want to take a moment to offer the floor to Jeff and to Brian. Any comments from our institution?
Yeah, I would just again like to say thank you tonight for the agreement that we negotiated and entered into and was approved tonight. And really appreciate Brady and his staff and all the work that they did to make this possible. we were thrown, this has been several years in the making, I think, as everybody knows. We were thrown quite a few curveballs, but I think where we landed is something where everybody can be proud. And we are so excited about this project. And I think as trustee Buchanan mentioned, 1,500 touch points, or maybe you mentioned, Chair, 1,500 touch points a day. And to get those into a more safer environment is going to be critical for us. So we're thrilled about this and really excited about the progress of it. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm not gonna top that.
Thanks for being here. We're happy to have you.
Thanks for putting up with me.
Sure. I do have one more observation to make. This last week, I saw not one, not two, but 3 operators out of their buses picking up little bits of trash around our bus stops. They take such good care of this community, of our system, and of our customers, of our riders. And I'm just please thank them for it. I need a motion to adjourn. We have no executive session this month. So I have got trustee Bianchi, with a motion to adjourn, seconded by trustee Foster. Any questions or comments? Hearing none. I have a motion to adjourn. I'll see you all at 7:00 Friday.
Trustee Bianchi? We're voting to adjourn.
Oh. Yes.
Vice Chair Buchanan,
Yes.
Trustee Craven.
Yes.
Secretary Foster,
Yes.
Trustee Rao,
Yes.
Trustee Sanders.
Absolutely.
Board Chair Heil.
Yes.
Thank you. Let me stop and all the recordings.
Are they gonna register?
Yeah, we'll work on it.
Do you have more copies of this?
Yep. Yes, right here.
And then